Hey guys, David, BAC 5, welcome back. Last hour here, and what I'm working on, and I didn't really anticipate working on this, is heat kinks. Sun kinks, they call them, but I'm in Northern California, and we've been having some pretty hot weather here lately, so sometimes my track likes to do this. I don't know if you guys experience. One nice thing living in Northern California is we don't really have a humidity problem, but we do have a heat problem. So this obviously, when I lay my track, I usually try to keep, a little gap. And the gap that I use is my fingernail. I just put my fingernail in between each gap between, and I'll show you here, between the joints, just for expansion and contraction and all that good kind of stuff. But obviously there's no gap there, so that's why you saw the heat kink. And I was running a train last night, and of course it derailed all over the place, so I knew exactly what it was. And it was a different area of my layout. This is up in my Pleasanton area. So, and I'll show you, there's a track right below this, and one of my, I've got about umpteen staging yards here. But yeah, you kind of see there's tracks below here. There's 3 levels here, so I got staging in all of these areas back here. And I'm standing on an elevated platform too, but you can also see this is just my staging. I don't really worry about that too much, but you can see what's going on. Even my cat says it's hot, they just kind of pass out. So on a real railroad, as an engineer, you're taught to, say if you encounter a sun kink, heat kink, or the track's wavy, you're taught to plug the train from the rear. And that means you activate, you've got your telly, the rear of the train, and there's a toggle switch right there by the control, usually above the control stand or next to the control stand someplace. It gives you information on the telly, but it also allows you to put the train into emergency from the rear. And the reason you want to do that is if you come up on one of those things, you want to keep that thing stretched out, because if you hit it from the front and all of a sudden there's a derailment or something, now you got the whole train all bunched up, and it's just going to come right in at you, just like a bunch of dominoes coming in on top of you. So you're taught to plug it from the rear. Fortunately, with my short career with the UP, I never did encounter a heat kink, but I've come across pull-aparts. And of course, the heat kinks are because of the hot weather. And the pull-aparts are caused because of colder, usually cold weather. And that's where the rail pretty much just breaks apart. A lot of times maybe if there's a joint, it'll just pull the joint apart. But there's enough contraction. You'd be surprised how much expansion and contraction there is in welded rail, CWR rail. But in that case, if you're on signal territory, you'll get a red signal. And then there was one time we ran right over it. There's about a foot of rail missing. Chunk pulled apart, and we just ran over. Luckily, we didn't derail. We're going restricted speed, so we weren't going more than 10 miles an hour. I think I was the conductor at the time. But you definitely feel it go thump, 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 thump. So you just stop. We ended up having to stop. We got 3 engines over it, and the first tank car behind us, a non-hazardous tank car, went over it too. And then we were able to stop the train, and we couldn't take the whole train over it because it's a good chance of us derailing. So the track guys came out, came out in about an hour and a half or something like that. Just one guy, and he just made a temporary fix, kind of temporarily bolted it together so we get the train over it and get out of there so we can make a better repair on it. So yeah, that's kind of how it works here, and I'll show you my little thing I'm working on. So of course, this stuff usually happens in the worst possible location on the layout, kind of. Well, there's worse than this, but of course it's in the corner here. But yeah, running the train last night, you kind of see how bad this is out of gauge here. If I put the gauge in here, it's completely pushed in, if you can see that. So there's no gap in the And the rails, oh, this is all hand laid back here too. Individually hand laid ties and spikes, and I've got my little cutoff saw, so easy fix. I already pushed back the rail joiner. The only thing I'm gonna do is just take my little cutoff saw on my rotary tool here, and I'm just gonna take a little chunk out of there, and I might put a couple more spikes in. I got everything to do that. This little bag of spikes right there, and easy, quick fix, but I do have these every once in a while, especially with the hotter weather. So there we have it. Pretty simple fix. Back engaged again. I don't even need to add any spikes. It's all engaged. So, and I got a little gap in there. My fingernail goes in. So that's pretty crazy, but I get some good derailments because of these things. So now you guys know something about sun kinks. Appreciate you guys watching. Our track guys are moving on to the next track problem. And we'll see what happens. So you guys take care. I've just been working on, well, my signals, putting in more switch machines and track maintenance, I guess. So you guys take care. Thanks, you guys. David, BAC 5, signing out.